Hi friends. After going through my closet and my kitchen, and off camera I did my books and decluttering all that I didn't need anymore, I think the next object for me to do was to tackle all the papers we have lying around. And I have broken the process down into 6 very easy steps, so please follow along in your own journey. Step 1. Identify papers and where you store them. I thought we didn't have too much actually, but when you start going through drawers and so on, you might end up finding out you had a lot more papers lying around than you anticipated from the start. Bills that have been paid, saved just in case, announcements pinned on the fridge with a magnet, a tray of letters, manuals you haven't looked in at all, old newspapers and magazines collected, and so on. KONMARI herself actually says that things, sentimental things such as diaries and love letters don't count, so you can skip on that. But otherwise, first step is to comb through your house and find out all the papers you have and bring them out. Step 2. Discard everything. Marie Kondo is actually pretty ruthless when it comes to papers, and with a good reason actually, because in her opinion, papers can't spark joy in you at all. So unless it falls into the following 3 categories, it's something you should discard immediately. And the 3 categories is currently in use, needed for a short period of time, or to be kept indefinitely. Papers has actually been a pretty difficult one for me, but when I started coming through all my drawers and cabinets and all the places I had different piles of papers and manuals and so on, I discovered that I actually had a lot of clutter. For example, this washing machine manual, I have never looked in that at all, and I'm pretty sure I can find it online if I ever need something that is printed in this book. After you have found all your papers from drawers and so on, you need to categorize them into these 3 categories that I mentioned earlier. It can be a quite time-consuming or boring task depending on how many papers you have. So you can either plug in some music or you can turn on the TV while you do it. Step 3. Sort remaining papers into 2 categories. So Marie Kondo's method of filing is pretty simple actually. There's only 2 categories. One for items that needs to be kept indefinitely, and one for items that needs to be dealt with immediately. What I did was to save papers that obviously were to be needed at some point in the future for tax purposes, for example, or certificates and so on, and the stuff that could be dealt with immediately, such as bills that need to be paid, or things that needed to be digitized. I dealt with that. Step 4. Put papers to be dealt with in one spot. Papers to be dealt with includes things such as bills to be paid, magazines that you need to read, forms you need to fill out and submit, or letters you need to respond to. Marie Kondo suggests to put it in one spot only and use a vertical organizer so you can keep everything in one spot and only one spot. Here in Denmark right now they're still locked down due to the corona restrictions, so I haven't gotten one yet. I will just make a pile on my desk, and once the stores open again, I will go to buy one. Step 5. File papers that must be saved according to frequency of use. Marie Kondo divides papers that needs to be saved into 2 categories. One is the infrequent use ones, such as birth certificates, marriage license, insurance policies, warranties, and the other one is papers that need to be used more frequently. Marie Kondo suggests to put the infrequently used papers just into a clear file, and her justification behind it is that you are not likely to see these very often, so you shouldn't spend a lot of time and energy into categorizing and filing them at all. What I did was to simply gather the infrequently used papers in the back of a binder and the frequently used papers in the front of the binder, and then I placed them in a bookshelf. We don't have too many papers left anyway, so it's quite discreet. Step 6. Digitized papers. Papers that are used frequently are the most difficult according to Marie Kondo, because they often multiply and turns up everywhere. Marie Kondo suggests to put them in a clear folder. I personally prefer to either take a picture or scan them, and then upload it to a cloud storage service such as Dropbox or similar. And if I don't need the original, I will just discard that and have my digital copy of it. Of course, if it's something where you need the physical copy, such as a birth certificate or marriage license, you obviously need to keep that still. It felt so good to have done this actually. After I've done my closet and the kitchen, I think paper was one of the bigger things left that seemed very difficult to do actually. But it wasn't at all. It was just about getting started and then just keep going. While I don't have an avalanche of papers that many others might do, it still made a considerable change in my state of mind, and I now feel that I have a more clear picture inside my head about which papers I have and where to find them. So I'm very happy with this binder system. I still need the vertical organizer to keep papers in that needs to be dealt with immediately and to only have them in one place so they don't end up in the kitchen or in the office or somewhere else. But I'll get one when the store is open again. So I hope you got some inspiration from that, and if you want to support me in any way, you can either like or subscribe to my channel. You can comment down below if you have some thoughts about the video or if you just have any ideas popping into your head at all. And I will hopefully see you in a next video in the future. Cheers.